Yes, look at those hips going.
Hey, you got it.
Hello and welcome back to another video. So I thought in this video I would talk about my time with youth activities in Disney Cruise Line, my kind of experience of that, because I know there was a lot of people that kind of want to know what it's like to work on the ship and what it's like working for the youth activities, and videos like this can be very helpful for people who are applying or thinking about applying and just kind of want to have a little bit more of understanding of what it's like to be on the ship, and also it's for you nosy people as well who want to know what it's like. I'm not going to be talking about anything secret or anything incriminating because Disney do have trackers in our arms, and if I say anything secret or incriminating they will drag me away. So I want to talk about quickly my joining process and the application and how long it took me to get from application to the ship. When I applied for Disney Cruise Line, I actually applied like 11:30 at night after I finished work. I got home from work, I was like, let's apply for Disney Cruise Line. Let's see what it's like. So I applied on the Disney jobs page, and then I went to bed. I woke up the next morning, just checked my email straight away, and I already had an email from a recruiter in London who had said, like to have an interview with me, when can I come up and have an interview. So I was like, whoa, that's super quick. I didn't expect, I don't think I've ever had a job application be received and then an interview come through so quickly. So because I live close to London, I live close to Hammersmith, the head office for Disney here in Europe, they said come up to the office and we can have an interview. So I arranged an interview for the following week. Met by the recruiter, he took me upstairs, took me to what I suppose was the Disney Cruise Line floor of the building, and just had an interview. It lasted for about an hour or so. I don't really remember what questions he asked me. It was really nice. The interview went well, and then at the end of the interview, the recruiter basically goes, "Yeah, your interview's been successful. I can't offer you anything yet because there's still another step to go, but we're happy to continue with the application process." I was like, "Oh, sweet, cool." I got home, got the email that said, "Are you still interested in this application?" I said yes, and then he sent me back an email basically listing the job and then the amount of money I was going to get, the benefits and stuff like that. And then at the bottom it just explained that although your interview was successful, there's no job offer until they've done like verification checks and references. The references, I had to get six references. I did that, and then they do like a verification check. So they have like a snooping company, a private investigation employment company, who take your details, and they basically just ring through all the jobs that you've said you've had. They ring them up and say, "Hey, did this person work here?" So that is the process that can take a while as well, because depending on how quickly your references get back and how quickly the other company do your employment checks, and they basically just check everything that you said is accurate. That can take a bit of time. By April, May, I've been offered a start date in June, I think it was, and then they said you need to get your visas and you need to go and get a medical, and then there's also this other stuff. There's a whole list of other things you need to do that Disney sends you before you can go on the ship. I already have plans for the summer, so I asked Disney if I could defer my start date, and they said yeah, and they moved it to like September, and I said actually can you move it just a little bit further, and they moved it to October. So instead of starting in June and applying in March, so applying in March, starting in June, I actually applied in March and started in October. So Disney were very good and very flexible with being able to accommodate for me to start a little bit later, which was good. So all in all, it took about 6 months to get from application to the ship, although it really would have only taken me about 3 months. So if you are applying for Disney Cruise Line, then you don't quit your job and then apply and then wait until you are further along the application before you quit your job, because it can take a couple of months, it can take 5 months, 6 months, it could take long. It just depends on your personal circumstances. So once you've done your application and you get onto the ship, you start your ship training. Now you don't get thrown straight into your department if you're brand new, so you don't go straight into your workplace. You start off doing a training week on the ship, which is with HR and with safety. So basically you're just learning how to do ship life. They'll show you around the ship, they'll tell you a little bit how it works, what it's like being on the ship, and then the safety aspect of the safety officer. He goes over all the safety stuff, obviously, it's in the name. He'll tell you about the assembly plans, he'll tell you about like the watertight doors and just all the other stuff like the do's and don'ts and security and fire prevention and first aid type of stuff. They'll go over all that. If you're a musician, they obviously tell you if the ship is sinking that their assembly duty is to go and play a violin as the ship sinks. So we all kind of get told about these different things and how these stuff operates. I thought I had gotten away with not having a drill duty, but no, here I am, wearing fluorescent yellow.
Attention all traffic controllers,
Hello.
evacuation teams and assembly teams.
That's me.
Please report to your assembly stations and
I
positions immediately.
Certainly will.
All visitors, vendors and
I
workforce
thought I got away with this in
personnel
a year,
who are
but
not
no,
sailing
figured
with
me
the
out. I got
Disney
this
Dream
morning.
should
Not
disembark
happy.
at the deck.
So once you've come to the end of your HR safety training class week, you then get put into your department for your department training. Every department has slightly different trainings and they have slightly different length of time for the red tag that you wear, which signifies you're new. With the youth activities, it's generally around about a week, a couple of cruises that you work with a red tag on. And you get paired up with a trainer. So basically you paired up with this other person who's been there for a while, who's trained. They'll train you on how to do everything. So you just basically shadow them. And then you'll take exams. So there's a checklist you have to do so you know all the safety procedures and policies of NYA, because there are loads. And then you'll take an exam on that. It's not too difficult. Like some of the stuff you can just, it's common sense, but other stuff it is more, you wouldn't be able to guess it if you've never heard of it, but if you just listen, you'll get it quite easy. And then people always want to know if we get to choose what age groups we work with. When you get hired for youth activities with Disney Cruise Line, you're not hired to work in a certain age group. Basically, you work with any age between 3 and 17. When you get onto the ship and you start doing your training, you can request to go into other age groups. So you've got, they're split into 3 groups. You've got 3 to 12. 11 to 14 and then 14 to 17. So you can then ask if you prefer to go and work with a different age group to go into that. Some people absolutely do not want to work with other age groups. So you can ask. Sometimes they'll just tell you and just say, hey, you're going up there. I was actually very lucky and I got my red tag ripped off and my training finished on a Monday. And then on the Friday I went straight to the teens, the space vibe. And worked with the 14 to 17-year-olds pretty much for my whole first contract. So the whole 5 months I was on the ship, I only worked in Vibe. Like for me, Vibe is the best place to work because you can be more creative and you get a bit more freedom, a bit more responsibility to kind of just do stuff as you kind of want to do it, as long as it fits within what you're supposed to do. And so you get to host like quizzes and trivias and just like little game shows and just really interact with the teens, which I love so much.
Shake, let's go. Oh my god, look at this! You got it, Donald! Oh my goodness! Yeah, super! Come on, Donald, you can do this. Do not let one of those characters beat you.
Especially ass.
Call it Daisy, don't say Donald, let's go!
Woo! I believe in you, Donald!
We believe in you, let's go! Guys, let's hear for a shout for Mr. Donald Look himself!
Yeah, Donald!
Yes, Donald, look at those hips going.
Hey, you got it!
Yes, Donald, look at those hips going.
Hey, you got it!
Like we get to go and do dodgeball and karaoke at 1 AM, although sometimes 1 AM karaoke nobody turns up, which gives me the perfect opportunity to, put my stuff out there, give it a go myself.
But now I've got it thrown it all away, Mother. Didn't mean to make you cry. Thank you for coming out tonight. Again, you are a fantastic audience. Your support is what makes performing so fantastic. Thank you for coming out on this Disney cruise. We hope you're having a fantastic time. Thank you for coming to see me this evening. You're all wonderful. Enjoy your vacation. The love you gave me, nothing else can save me. SOS. When you're gone, how can I even try to go on? When you're gone, though I try, how can I carry on?
Activities on the ship are all like navigated, and they're already organised, pre-organised by forces much superior than the counsellor. We just get assigned to do the different things. So I've been assigned to do face paint before. Can I do face paint? No, but I kind of learn as I did it. I once kids love face paint. I had like 1 million kids wanting like face paint, and we have this little laminated printed out card of different things they can choose, which is great, and go, oh, I want that. And on pirate night, very simple, you know, a couple of scars, a black eye, a little bit of stubble on the beard, a cut maybe. Fantastic. This one girl waited in line, sat down, and said, what would you like from here? I want to be a panda. What? I say I prefer Vibe because it's much more flowing, it's much more interactive, it's much more, you can just really get involved, and it's a lot more fun for me as well, I think. I find the kids club, the lower kids club, to be a bit more like daycare, and you just kind of like, have you pooed yourself? Have you weed yourself? You're like that, you spend your whole time in the kids club going, who needs the bathroom? Because kids just poo themselves and wee themselves all the time.